Welcome to the Clear Table Talk. I am Asada Windchaser Holiday, where our topic today is shaping minds, building communities, and developing economies. I always show a picture of the clear table because it's the clear table talk, and I want you to get the idea of transparency when we talk about spiritual relations of ideologies, philosophies, and personal perspectives, and inherent biases that we all have, and as we go about our day in interactions in the world and in life with other people and places and times and different scenarios. I am actually this morning having a cup of coffee before going to work with my grandchildren, which is challenging. Their age is now 4, 2, and 1. And they're not always the best behaved people or well mannered. So, from a civil perspective, civil rights perspective, it is a challenge for me. But I'm managing because it's become my life's work in my retirement, and my intention with this clear table talk is to turn it and monetize it into something that I can receive residual income on down the line somehow. I'm just throwing topics out for now of discussion uh, that comes to my mind each day because my life is so busy and I'm working two full-time, basically, positions, running two businesses, and I also am dealing with a disabling challenge that's chronic, severe, and serious, and perpetual onto my personhood. So this is a clear table talk, and we go to academies to build our minds and to develop talents so that we can contribute in our communities. What do you think about that? Um, I have found that it's more of a war uh, between uh, people, individually and collectively. Groups of people, like groups of wolves, attack that which they see as different, vulnerable, or a threat to their reality or perspective. I found that when one has talent, skills, and abilities that are attractive, they become a target. I've discovered that when one acquires material wealth that is visible and it looks obtainable, they attract hate, envy, jealousy, and thieves. Um, I've discovered that the government is there to act as a liaison between two parties, which to do a scientific experiment that is based on evidence and not necessarily the truth or a verifiable story of account witnessed and attested for. Because when two people meet, they call themselves friends. But in the eyes of the oligarchy infrastructure um, force uh, that's protecting the elite. They see and punish poverty, um, the woes of poverty, whether it's people who live with food insecurities or are at social disadvantages or have language barriers or otherwise are like the elephant man in the movie, just cast out of society because their appearance is unwelcoming and unpleasing to the eye and sickening to some to even be around. And I found that when you're developing economies, appearance is transparent because the economy is blind, like the scales of justice. It sees only the source and the resource and the supply. So I know that after COVID-19, there's been challenges to the supply chains and new businesses um, rising and being successful. And the new America is based on technology and access to that technology. I think I understand Mark Zuckerberg's mindset when he was on campus looking at the other students and deciding to do the Facebook uh, software. And I think it's kind of funny. And I think it's kind of also interesting how his development it really challenges people socially in all their comforts and all their private um, um, privileges that they don't even realize they have because they're just being themselves. But that goes back to being thought of then again as a it and other rather than a person with friends and family, where you're just a subject of the crown, so to speak. So um, developing talents is really where it's at in terms of uh, building empires. And I remember listening to Oprah Winfrey, and she said she can recognize talent, and that's what she was good at. And so, in doing so, she was able to validate and affirm, acknowledge, and produce that talent in other people, giving them the form to create a pathway towards their own um, visions of success. I do the same thing in a lot of people's lives myself. I have found it's so interesting because I have found myself repeatedly in a cycle of build, measure, learn, and grow. And then comes uh, the on seekers and onlookers wanting to, you know, how can I say, capitalize off of my work and even take advantage of my gains. All the while, I suffer uh, from lack or a constant disregard or disrespect. So I think that, like Oprah, in recognizing talent, I have to then now learn how to not only build other people's economies and my own, but also how to develop my own talents and find security and safety of environment and people who are not seeking after anything that I have obtained, unless we're in a contractual relationship. Because I want friends, family, and not it and others. To be, I know what it feels like to be cast away, and just like Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway, I've lived that experience, and then made to be a reproach among my peers, based on other people's uh, beliefs and opinions, which are not necessarily my truths. So the false accusations uh, interrupt the ability to develop economy, and is acts as a barrier to entry into the mainstream society, and to be socially accepted and profit off of your own work, which is the ultimate goal for someone like me who has always sought out entrepreneurship. I have successfully been able to just listen to a person and help them achieve their goals and their dreams, um, repeatedly and time again. I watched one guy on YouTube who said he noticed about himself how he was good with women who had challenges with their mothers being jealous of them because they had certain measure of social inclusion or economic success or capital access in their lives, whereas their mom had not, and the challenge in the relationship was toxic. So we have, I think, like that guy, I too have this natural gift and ability and talent to facilitate realization of other people's dreams. I'm working now with a family who is has immigrated to the United States, and are I'm facilitating their stabilization here in this land, through my work as a supporting cast member and assistance. Um, I I assisted one lady with her desire of her heart to make new friends and build a business, and she's gone on to live happily ever after. That was about 5 years ago, and I've been working with this family for about 4 years. Um, and then I worked with peer support, where I just basically would give exercise and assignment and discussions on various topics for people to then do their own work. And I watched so many people, along with the staff. Obviously, I myself was just a background to their foreground, but I could see the difference that it made in not only their lives but mine, in the health and wellness and goals of people who were otherwise would have been at an extraordinary disadvantage in a democracy. And so, and then before that, um, I remember having a relationship with someone who rehabilitated himself from the grips of whatever he was dealing with. You know, I heard one guy says at my auntie's funeral he was dealing with his own demons. And I think that's what happens with people. They deal with their own demons. They're like fighting against themselves a lot of times, and they're in their own way. And I used to listen to this song by Yolanda Adams called "Open Up My Heart," and I used to read. I read most of Iyanla Van Zant's books. I used to read her books all the time, But there's one book. One day my soul just opened up. It's an interactive workbook that um, it helped me as I helped others along the way. And so now I know that I'm making other people wealthy by paying rents and having lease agreements. So my intention is to learn how to then be on the other side of that seesaw of life, or that weighted scale that is in balance, where I find myself depleted of energy and time, and my efforts are not for my own benefit, because I want to retire successfully and travel like my friend's mother. She's my new mentor goal for as I age. And so this is the Clear Table Talk, and we're talking about developing economies, building minds, and I'm Asada Windchaser Holiday. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight.